Tonight on EKB Evening News at 6, a Pike County judge faces his accusers during a hearing in Lexington. Good evening, I'm Gary Sloan.
And I'm Cindy Mae Johnson. As the Kentucky Judicial Conduct Commission continues to review allegations of misconduct filed in April against Pike Circuit Judge Stephen Combs, the judge appeared at a hearing in Lexington this morning. Combs came under the commission's scrutiny following complaints that he had inappropriate communications with state and local officials and failed to recuse himself from a handful of cases in which he had an interest. During today's hearing, commissioners heard further details of those allegations. They also heard from witnesses who came out to support Combs, and they heard from the judge himself. Our own EKB News reporter, Shannon Deskins, was the only television reporter at that hearing. She brings us this exclusive report.
In a hearing this morning in Fayette Circuit Court, the Kentucky Judicial Conduct Commission heard testimony in the case of Pike Circuit Court Judge Stephen D. Combs. Because of the judicial misconduct allegations against him, the commission held the proceedings to determine whether or not to temporarily suspend Combs.
We believe that the evidence we're going to present in this case today will establish that it is in the best interest of justice that Judge Combs be temporarily suspended pending the final adjudication of the charges.
In an attempt to substantiate allegations of misconduct, sworn written statements were read in court from Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn, Police Chief Philip Reed, and Captain Chris Edmonds, as well as representatives from EQT. Two Pikeville attorneys, on the other hand, testified on behalf of Judge Combs.
How would you describe his demeanor on the bench?
Very good, very cordial, very nice, treats attorneys and witnesses very kindly, but at the same time, the respect you have to have in the circuit courtroom, he demands that as well.
Have you ever known Judge Combs to be in any way impaired while he's on the bench?
Absolutely not, no.
Has he ever been discourteous to anyone that you've seen?
No, sir.
On the bench?
On the bench or off, no.
After both sides finished presenting their cases, it only took the commission a short time to reach a decision.
The commission finds that it will be in the best interest of justice that Judge Combs be suspended temporarily from acting in his official capacity as a judge and from the performance of his duties without affecting his pay status until final adjudication of the pending formal proceedings.
And those formal proceedings have been tentatively scheduled for September of this year. For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shannon Deskins.
Donations are being collected for the family of two Mingo County boys who drowned over the weekend. According to reports, 13-year-old Gabriel Gerald Cantrell and his brother, 12-year-old Alan Michael Cantrell, were swimming with family members at Bluestone Lake in Summers County when a strong current pulled them under. The boys were students at Williamson Pre-K 8, where the PTO has established a fund to accept donations for the family. Donations can be dropped off at the school during the day. Contributions can also be made online via the link shown on your screen. You can also find a link on the online fundraiser on EKB News Facebook page following this newscast.
A Knott County woman was in court this afternoon to answer a drug charge. 57-year-old Donna S. Sexton of Sassafras appeared before U.S. Magistrate Judge Edward B. Atkins for a preliminary hearing on charges of conspiracy and distributing oxycodone. Atkins heard testimony from Hazard Police Detective Russell Dishner, who accused Sexton of coordinating a drug ring. According to Dishner, Sexton would take groups of people to a Florida pain clinic, collect their prescriptions, then distribute the drugs after the prescriptions were filled. Atkins found probable cause to refer the case to a grand jury for further consideration. The judge ruled against a government motion to keep Sexton incarcerated pending a potential trial. A probation office report recommended lesser conditions to ensure Sexton's future appearance in court and to prevent her from trying to influence witnesses.
The Pike County School Board sat down for a tense and at times heated meeting with forensic auditors last night. EKB News reporter Courtney Lovren was there and filed this report.
On Monday evening, the Pike County School Board called a special work session to discuss with auditors the forensic audit they have been conducting since March of this year. The work of the auditing firm Baylog and Tambury has been called into question by the board because of the rates they are charging the school system and the time it is taking to complete the audit. The audit is currently in the beginning of the second phase. The work session was called to decide whether to continue working with the auditors or to search for a new company.
The board made a recommendation. It was Mr. Billiter made that recommendation. It was approved that the auditors will work through next Tuesday. At that point, they will not work anymore for us until the August board meeting, and the board revisits the opportunity to either include them further or to terminate our services with them. So next Tuesday will be the last day that we will be working with them until after the August board meeting.
There were also suspicions that the auditors came in to directly get someone fired from their position.
All we do is find the facts. We have no stake, we have no animosity, we have no desire to get anybody.
It has cost the school board $3,000 a day to pay the auditors, and the board called to question the rates the couple charge for their housing, food, and travel expenses. The auditors claim their work has been stalled because of the school district employees' fear of losing their jobs if they hand over any information. On the other side, the superintendent said there is no reason to fear the loss of a job.
Of course, no. Certainly, there's no concern about anyone's job. You know, in terms of everything I look at in terms of whether a person should be working is job performance. Now, I would encourage all our employees to cooperate fully with any auditor. We also have a regular financial audit coming up. That auditor met with our bookkeepers and principals today. And of course, you know, the word audit causes a little anxiety, but the whole, like Ms. Grubb was saying, the whole idea for an audit is for us to be better, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Reporting for EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Courtney Levern.
The Bank of Mingo has agreed to admit to not taking sufficient steps to prevent money laundering and forfeit $2.2 million to the government, according to records filed in U.S. District Court in Charleston. In an agreement signed by Bank Corporate Officer Randall T. Brumfield, the bank admits that an employee of the Williamson branch knowingly and willfully failed to take required measures to impede the practice. That employee has now been replaced. The case included allegations that the bank didn't obtain sufficient customer information, allowed structured cash transactions to evade reporting requirements, and did not file reports on suspicious activity. The bank now has 1 year to forfeit the money and demonstrate that it has changed procedures to comply with the law. If the government is satisfied that all conditions are met, the criminal charge will be dismissed. Well, coming up, the Southeast Chamber's planning a big night out on the town with a little help from friends at Alltech.
And churchgoers from Ohio are in the region to help with the less fortunate with home repairs. We'll be back in 2 minutes. A church group from Springfield, Ohio is in Pike County this week to help those with mobility problems by constructing needed repairs. EKB News reporter Shelby Steele spoke with the volunteers today to learn why they chose Pike County.
A group of 5 adults and 5 teenagers from the Springfield Church of God in Ohio are in the Grapevine area of Phyllis in Pike County doing work for those in need. 14-year-old Madison Lawson has spina bifida and has to use a wheelchair for mobility. The group started work yesterday constructing a new ramp and porch for the Lawson family.
She had a small ramp, but it wasn't sufficient, and now they built her a full ramp, and they covered her porch and made it level with the door going into the house.
The group felt that since this area was struggling with an economic downturn, this would be something uplifting for the community.
We're here just as some representatives of our church that said we want to come, and I knew there was a need down here.
Our goal was just to be available and serve in whatever capacity we could, and God provided that. And we still have more projects to do, but God has given us speed and the ability to get these things done.
One volunteer explains that the project is close to his heart because it's more of a one-on-one experience compared to other places he's worked.
All the other previous trips that I've been to, I never really got to help people like I did here. So this is a really eye-opening thing because I've never really helped people one-on-one. We had this water park in Springfield and we cleaned that, but I never actually got to do one-on-one work with other people.
The group will be in the area until Thursday. For EKB Evening News at 6, I'm Shelby Steele.
Alltech and the Southeast Kentucky Chamber of Commerce are planning a special chamber night out to raise money for the Chamber's Educational Fund. The evening will include dinner, live music by Jason Goebel, a cash bar, and a talk by Alltech Master Distiller Mark Kaufman. This morning on the Daybreak Morning Show, Alltech's Ryan Jones gave a preview of the night's menu.
There's 4 entrees. The first one is going to be a brie and fig crostini paired with Town Branch bourbon, which is a 75% corn bourbon, which is 80 proof, and it's super smooth, super good. We're on the bourbon trail with that bourbon, so come check us out in Lexington if you get time over by Rupp Arena. Next entree is pan-seared scallop with blood orange cream paired with Town Branch rye, which is a 55% rye whiskey at 100 proof. Next one is pancetta and Parmesan stuffed portobello mushrooms served with black truffle risotto and roasted vegetables paired with Pierce Lyons Reserve, which is the founder of our company. So that's like similar to an Irish whiskey or Scotch whiskey. It's a single malt. Next one is the dessert, which is probably going to be the most popular, which is a vanilla bean brulee cheesecake with Bluegrass Sundown sauce. So the Bluegrass Sundown is a bourbon infused with coffee, which is incredible.
Sounds delicious. It all takes place Thursday night on the Skyview Terrace of Hilton Garden Inn in Pikeville. Tickets can be purchased at the door for $55 or in advance from the Chamber for $45.
Well, Bluestone Resources has announced that it plans to reopen 2 idled mines in West Virginia, putting 200 union coal miners back to work. The company said it would resume production at the Coal Mountain Mine in Wyoming County and the Red Fox Mine in McDowell County. Company owner and West Virginia gubernatorial candidate Jim Justice purchased the mines earlier this year and vowed to resume operations at that time. Well, coming up, Jamie Johnson will tell us why Paintsville's Cash Daniel decided to move his college football decision up to the 4th of July.
I think it's fireworks. But first, EKB Chief Meteorologist Lathan Hopkins will be in with a look at the weather. We'll be back in 2 minutes. Now, guys, we've got a pretty soundproof studio, but right before we went on, there were some big booms out there.
A lot of thunderstorms making their way across the Big Sandy region, and those storms have actually put down some decent rainfall across parts of the region. We'll talk about that here in just a second. Where are the storms as of now? Well, the Doppler radar shows those are now into southwest Virginia. Things beginning to calm down throughout western West Virginia and southeastern Kentucky. Still some moderate rain falling around Phelps in Feds Creek, but you see some lighter rain near Pikeville, Paintsville as well. A nice little break here from Hazard to Jackson. And I think the showers and thunderstorms further to the west will begin to die out as we make our way through the rest of this evening. But boy, the storms did pack a punch. We shot some video a little bit earlier of the storms as they rode through downtown Pikeville, producing some heavy rainfall as well as frequent lightning, as you'll see right there. And then on top of that, of course, gusty winds also made their way through the region, had wind gusts as high as 40 to 50 miles per hour in central parts of Knott County and in southern parts of Pike County. So again, those storms did even prompt a severe thunderstorm warning at one time for southern parts of Pike and Letcher counties. Now things much calmer. But as I mentioned, the storms did drop some locally heavy rainfall. If you look to the north around Paintsville, between Paintsville and Prestonsburg, about a trace to a ½ inch of rain. And then between Prestonsburg and Pikeville, another trace to about a ½ inch of rain. But it is southern parts of Pike County into central Knott County, into extreme southern Floyd County. You see the yellow showing up, and that's the radar saying at least an inch of rain falling as those storms move through. And this is very beneficial rain, to say the least. We are getting very dry across the region. What is going on as far as the satellite and radar composite goes? There you see the frontal boundary that kicked off the showers and storms today. This is actually a little further south than I expected it to get, and hence that's why we had the numerous showers and thunderstorms develop. What's going to happen now? The remnants of Tropical Storm Bill, this moisture will also get fed right along this front, but it's expected to be just to the north, and that should keep the best rain chance to the north, as a matter of fact, and the locally heavy rainfall again, should be to our north. About 1 to 2 inches of rain still forecast from Pikeville to Williamson over to Lexington and Bowling Green, but there you see the bullseye. Between 2 to 5 inches of rain stretching from Columbus, Cincinnati back to St. Louis. Of course, as I mentioned yesterday, this is a forecast that we will continue to watch and we'll keep you up to date with the latest on. Overnight lows tonight will be dropping back down, low 70s, another warm and muggy night, and then by tomorrow, you see the 90s trying to make a return into the region. Looks like we will eventually make a run toward 91 degrees again tomorrow. As far as the pollen count is concerned, expected to stay in the low to moderate category Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, each and every day, around 4.2. And of course, that pollen count brought to you by Faith Pharmacy, Adams Plaza in Pikeville. 7-day forecast time, a 40% chance of rain for tomorrow, as I mentioned, 91 degrees, and then we drop into the upper 80s as some of that moisture from what is now Tropical Storm Bill makes its way closer to the Ohio Valley, increasing the rain chance for now to a 50% chance. And of course, you can catch the latest forecast. If you missed it tonight, you can get that tomorrow, Appalachian News Express.
Good deal. Now, I know we've been talking about needing the rain.
We do need the rain.
Was this enough to matter?
The thing is, the cutoff was this morning for this week's data, so we will not see the effects of this data until next week.
Tell the plant staff.
Yeah,
they don't care when it comes.
I still think we'll still be in that first category for drought this week, but we should see some improvement next week.
Thanks, Lee.
Great. And we'll be back with sports in 2 minutes. Well, Jamie, it sounds like there's going to be an awful lot of fireworks in Paintsville on the 4th of July.
Well, we're going to find out why this young man wanted to move his decision to a holiday. It's kind of an odd thing, but we're going to find out right now. We told you yesterday that Paintsville linebacker Cash Daniel made the decision to speed up his college recruiting process by moving his announcement date from August 13th to the 4th of July. The news came after making visits to Kentucky and South Carolina last week. He's also canceled his recruiting trip to the University of Florida. Today, Daniel joined Tom Leach on the Leach Report radio show on Classic Rock 103.1 to explain his decision.
What prompted you to move up your decision date?
I have a pretty good idea where I want to go to school at. I just tell the media that just to get out of more harder questions to answer. And I got a pretty good idea where I want to go to school, and I think it's a good decision for me, and it's going to be a good fit for me. And I moved up July 4th because I said, why wait? And, I'm a pretty patriotic guy myself, so what better day to do it than the day we declared our independence.
He's an All-American, what can you say? Game 6 of the NBA Finals begins tonight, and the champagne will be in place just in case the Golden State Warriors can capture their first title in 40 years with a win tonight. Coach Steve Kerr and the Splash Brothers know it will be a challenge to take the crown in Cleveland.
And in this case, we'll be on the road against a great team. It's going to be hard. It's just the way it is. So we got to get better. We got to play better next game than we did tonight.
We're confident. We're not getting ahead of ourselves. The locker room, if you walked in there, was the exact same after a regular season win. But we know the sense of urgency of the moment, and it's a good feeling to get a win in Cleveland and understand we can get it done and how we need to get it done. So ready for the opportunity.
LeBron James is 7-7 all-time in elimination games, yet with their backs to the wall, King James feels confident that the Cavaliers will push this to a Game 7.
We're going home with a Game 6. We got enough to win it. We protect home. We come here. We're going to worry about Tuesday first, but if we protect home like we've been capable of doing, then we force a Game 7.
So this is different?
I feel confident.
The Reds are in Detroit for a brief 2-game get-together with the Tigers. Last night, another member of the Reds made it to the MASH unit. Top of the first with a runner at second base, Miguel Cabrera with a sharp comebacker to the mound. Rookie John Moscott makes a great grab, looks the runner back, and then commences to chase. Stop, drop, and roll. He gets the out, yet in the process, he dislocated his left shoulder. You kidding me? Moscott had to leave the game. He becomes the 8th different Reds player to currently reside on the disabled list. The bullpen kept the game close until the 6th inning. Detroit's J.D. Martinez sending this one over the right field wall for a 2-run blast. Tigers with a 6-0 win. Since June 30th of last year, the Reds are a Major League worst 19 wins and 51 losses away from home. Finally, Lord Stanley's Cup was hoisted last night as the Blackhawks are the champions of hockey. Chicago captures their first Stanley Cup title on home ice in 77 years, defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning 2-0, much to the joy of EKB news producer, chief cook and bottle washer, Mr. Al Greenfield. And that is a look at sports.
You know, it's not that often that we have somebody from Chicago here to jubilate at a time like that.
I was disappointed. I thought he would wear his Blackhawks jersey to work today.
Yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. You should have allowed him to do that.
I would have never stopped him.
We'll be right back. Well, Lathan, a chance for maybe a lingering shower this evening?
A few more showers this evening, maybe an isolated shower overnight tonight, and then a 40% chance of rain tomorrow. That will increase by Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend to a 50% chance, and depending on what that moisture does to our south, we may have to increase that even more. We'll keep you updated over the next couple of days.
Okay, thank you.
And speaking of things to come, there's another great video show on tonight.
Mel's Video Rewind, 7 o'clock tonight. Set your timer for it.
And get up and dance. That's going to do it for tonight's EKB Evening News. Remember, you can get more local news anytime by listening to the radio stations of East Kentucky Broadcasting. You can follow EKB News and EKB TV on Facebook. We leave you tonight with some thrilling footage of Al Greenfield celebrating, oh no, I'm sorry, from this afternoon's thunderstorm over Pikeville. Good night. Thanks for watching.